Ja Morant, the Memphis Grizzlies point guard and the NBA's hottest NBA rookie. For now, maybe. Trae Young, the recently announced all-star starter from the Atlanta Hawks. Two of the league's brightest young point guards, two of the league's most electrifying players, both of them less than 22 years old. Today we will take a closer look at each player and compare them to find out exactly who the better player is. However, a little caveat for this video, I want to specifically answer the question of who will be better moving forward, as specifically for this season. I would hope at least that most people would think that Trae Young is having a better individual season. However, moving forward for the next 10 or so years, that is what I want to talk about for this video. Leave a comment for what versus video you guys want from me next, and also subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to be updated on all my latest videos as soon as they go up. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this video, and first taking a look at Trae Young.
I don't think he's ready for the pros. Trae Young is good and promising, and I believe he would get better with development in college against players more on his own level. A couple of more years.
Trae Young is a 6'1" point guard who plays for the Atlanta Hawks, currently in his second year in the league. Real quick shout out to Trae Young for his selection as a All-Star Game starter in just his second year in the league, regardless of the conference, and some people thinking he doesn't deserve it. Just being an All-Star in his second year is already an impressive feat in itself, but being a starter is highly impressive. In his rookie year, he averaged 19 points and 8 assists, and while efficiency for the overall season was not anything to brag about, a big part of that was how he started the season, as for the first half of the season, Trae was averaging 15 points and 7 assists on 39, 28, 78 shooting from the field, and it was definitely a concerning thing to see. However, for the second half of the season, he averaged 22 points and 9 assists on 44, 35, 85 splits, showing more of what we were expecting from him and what he can really do for the Atlanta Hawks moving forward. There was even a 5-game stretch in his rookie year where Trae averaged 35 points and 10 assists on ridiculous 47, 49, 92 shooting. While the Hawks as a whole have been a huge disappointment, Trae Young in his sophomore year has been far from it. As in his second year, Trae is averaging a ridiculous 29 points, 9 assists and 5 rebounds on 45, 37, 84 splits. But now you might be asking, B Souls, he just has a high usage rating. That's the only reason he's getting these numbers. They're really not that impressive. They're just empty numbers. While yes, I understand that Trae's usage rating is a huge reason why his stats are this high in terms of volume, for Trae to be this efficient is still ridiculous, especially considering the fact that he's the main focus of the defense every single game, and the level of difficulty of his shots with this efficiency is highly impressive.
I love shooting, and that's why I feel like I was shooting so far, is because people were growing and I was the same height, and so I was just trying to extend my range out further and further. But no, I've always been a big time shooter, just 'cause I always worked on it and always tried to perfect that. So I just put in a lot of time in.
He's an elite shooter, as once again he's shooting 37% from behind the arc on 9 attempts per game, shooting off the dribble a lot of times, which, correct me if I'm wrong, is harder than a simple catch and shoot 3. But let's not also forget about his playmaking ability, as he is definitely a good passer, to say the least. His handle as well is also tremendous, and again, while his usage rating is a big reason for the volume of his stats, there's still also a level of skill and a level of stardom required for a coach and a system to use you this much. As far as weaknesses, there's definitely one, and that is defense. Trae Young is just a measly 6'1", 180-pound point guard on defense. He can't really switch on any bigger players, he's not strong for NBA standards, he's not extremely athletic like a Russell Westbrook or a Derrick Rose, and because Trae is such an integral part of their offense and one of the best offensive players in the league, the Hawks will be faced with the same problems that teams like the 2017 Boston Celtics, the 2016 Golden State Warriors, the 2001 76ers, and teams like that had, which is how exactly do you compensate for a player like him defensively when you need him so much on the offensive side of the court? And while it's not Trae's fault that he was born like this, that he grew up to be 6'1", it's just the reality of the situation. It is a disadvantage that a team that Trae Young will have when he's on their team. However, this does not mean that players that are better defensively and are good on offense are automatically better. A perfect example I always use is Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is a better two-way player. However, Curry is so much better offensively that he is still a better player, and 95% of people would rather have Curry than Butler on their team, with all due respect to Jimmy Butler and how good he is. But now that we've analyzed Trae Young a little bit, let's go ahead and move on to Ja Morant.
He's can't miss. This dude is, Ja Morant is, first of all, here's the main thing. Can he handle it? Can he shoot it? Can he pass it? Can he handle it? Can he shoot it? Can he pass it? Can he handle it? Can he shoot it? Can he pass it?
Look, I really don't want to make this a Max Kellerman exposed video because that's not what it is, but Max is looking a little hypocritical here.
I don't think he's ready for the pros. Trae Young is good and promising, and I believe he would get better with development in college against players more on his own level. I mean, come on. How much better do you want him to do?
Ja Morant is the Memphis Grizzlies 6'3" point guard and currently is in his rookie year. Going into the draft, Ja Morant was definitely that one player that was going off in college whose individual performance in the season skyrocketed his stock and put him on the map. You know, on the lines of D'Angelo Russell, Buddy Hield, and even Trae Young himself. So far this season, Ja Morant is averaging roughly 18 points, 7 assists and 3 rebounds on 49, 40, 81 splits. He's a player that has a great feel for the game and has that star quality to him, as he's definitely been must-watch basketball already in just his first year.
He's quick, he can handle the ball, he can dish, he can score. Maybe remind some people of Isaiah Thomas. Does he remind you of anybody?
I wish I could jump like that.
Ja has tremendous athleticism. Combine that with his shifty handles. These are two attributes that Ja uses to his advantage to blow past defenders and finish strong at the rim. He's not like Trae, who can use his handle to finish with purely finesse at the rim. He definitely has the ability to boom on people and has the ability to go and perform acrobatic layups. And while he doesn't take a lot of threes, I would say he's definitely proven in college and in the NBA that if you sag off, he does have the ability to take that shot and make it, as in college, he shot 36% from 3 on 5 3-point attempts per game, and so far in his rookie year, shooting roughly 39 to 40% from 3 on 2 attempts in the NBA.
What are you going through right now? Take me through your brain.
I'm really starting off. We knew that they would switch a lot of ball screens, so we run this play to try to mess them up a little bit. So right now I'm really reading the bottom big to see if he's going to go up with his man. And he took a few steps up, and I already knew that my big is rolling to the rim, so I just delivered a pass.
It's amazing. So you, in this moment, even though your head is focused this way, you're able to see the fact that he's lunging that way.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at this pass that he makes too, Greeny. Look where he hits right in the target.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
look, he hits him right in the right hand. I mean, that pass has to be that far away, right in the right hand. That's a big time pass for easy finish.
His passing ability is also pretty good already, averaging 7 assists in 30 minutes of play this season, building upon the 10 assists per game he averaged in college. We're talking about a player who has the tools to be a very well-rounded scorer and a very well-rounded offensive player in general. And for being a rookie, he has already shown the ability that his numbers can definitely translate to wins, as so far this season, him and Jaren Jackson have been leading the Grizzlies to be in the running for the 8th seed in the Western Conference. Defensively, Ja Morant is nothing special. I'm not saying he's an amazing defender, but he's not a horrible one as well, and he has the athletic ability to potentially improve on it throughout his career. I would say his weaknesses right now, although like I said, he's been able to knock it down when he does take them, is his 3-point shooting. For a point guard in today's NBA to only average 2 3-point attempts per game, while not extremely concerning to Ben Simmons levels, can definitely be better and definitely has a little bit of cause for pause. Also defensively, again, as of right now, he is just an average defender, and as his usage rate inevitably goes up, as I explained earlier, him being a black hole defensively, especially in the playoffs when matchups are key, it's pretty much been the nature of these 6'3" and under star guards you can build a franchise around. The only exceptions in history really being who? Dennis Johnson, Chris Paul and maybe Rondo in his prime. I'm also concerned with Ja's potential for injury, as typically with uber athletic players, the risk for big time injuries are definitely higher. But now that we've taken a closer look at both players, let's go ahead and go into the conclusion for this video. Let me preface this conclusion by saying these two guys have extremely bright futures in the NBA barring injury. These two guys are extremely talented and have their pros and cons, as I explained in this video. While Trae Young is not athletic as Ja Morant, he still has a great handle and is one of the best shooters and one of the best offensive weapons in the league already, averaging 29 points a game in just his second year. Ja Morant isn't as good of a shooter as Trae Young, but has comparable handles, has a great feel for the game, is more athletic, and is a better defender. Personally, I think Ja Morant will end up having a better career than Trae and will be a better player in his prime. Ja is in an organization that has proven to be a competent franchise that knows how to build a team, and already has a player he can grow with also tremendous upside in Jaren Jackson Jr. I also think that Ja Morant is a player who can be every bit as good of a playmaker as Trae Young, every bit of a star, and as a leader as Trae Young, has already been clutch, already is a better defender with potential to get even better in the future on that side of the court, and has the tools to still be a player who can average 25 to 28 points per game in this league. However, I do want to emphasize that this is just what I think. This is not a fact. There is still a legitimate possibility, and I honestly would not be surprised if Trae Young ends up having a better career than Ja Morant. There is a legitimate possibility that in his prime, Trae Young will also be better than Ja Morant. I could be completely wrong. Let me know in the comment section who would you rather have going into the future. I did do a poll on Twitter, and it was pretty split. It wasn't lopsided one way or the other. Both sides made compelling arguments, but me personally, I would just take Ja Morant moving forward. But with that being said, go ahead and watch my other Battleground videos. If you haven't already, I will show them on the screen right now. Leave a like on the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'm out. Peace.